Over the past few weeks, we reported a series on how colleges and universities are trying to move lower-income students into the middle class. While many students still take a traditional path to college degree, there are other alternatives. John Yang examines some of them. It's part of our weekly segment, Making the Grade.
Even as the U.S. labor market has added jobs for more than 90 months in a row, analysts are concerned that there won't be enough skilled workers to fill new jobs in industrial work, manufacturing, and technology. One widely cited analysis estimates that more than 2 million jobs will go unfilled by 2025 because of a shortage of skilled workers. We look at efforts to close that gap with two people who specialize in this issue. Nicole Smith is a professor and economist at Georgetown University's Center on Education and the Workforce. And Beth Cobert is with the Markle Foundation. She's the head of a program called Skillful, which helps find qualified job candidates and prepare them for a changing economy. Nicole and Beth, thank you both for being here. Nicole, let me start with you.
Thank you.
What are the pathways to try to close that gap, the skills gap between the jobs available and the people able to fill them?
Well, one of the first things we have to do is to identify where some of the shortages lie. And once you do that, we can figure out, is there a way of attracting more people into those types of professions? The problem that we have here is that a lot of these quote-unquote middle skills jobs, jobs in manufacturing, jobs in construction, jobs in production occupations, still suffer from a PR problem, so that most people don't want to do those jobs because they have, they associate them with hard work, hard hats. What they fail to recognize is that these jobs are now good jobs that pay well, and in some circumstances even pay more than a standard associate's and bachelor's degree.
What sorts of jobs are we talking about?
So we are talking about welding jobs. We can be talking about jobs in transportation and logistics. We could be talking for, from women's perspective, some jobs in healthcare, professional and technical services jobs. There are many of these types of 2-year associate's degree, certification, licensing job that can pay very well if you have the qualifications required.
Beth Cobert, I know your organization works with employers. Are you working with the employers to try to get them to look for skills rather than credentials?
That's right. We are working with employers to get them to think about skills and credentials. What do you really need to do a job? What do you need to start on that job? And what are some of the skills that can be trained while you're there? We found in our work with employers that when they think about that way, when they distinguish between what's required and what's preferred, it opens up the labor pool to a variety of candidates who they might have not have thought about for those roles. So it creates opportunities for individuals to get to the good jobs that Nicole is describing, and to be able, once they're there, to advance in those organizations with good wages and good jobs.
Nicole, Beth's talking a lot about these sort of doing these in mid-career, as it were, or people who are looking to change jobs. What about at the beginning, at high school, the guiding students into the right places or the right fit for them?
We have to start much sooner now than we did in the past. If you want to make sure that you are connecting what people learn in school all the way through school, and this is from high school all the way through college, you can start in high school and you can expose students to career opportunities. So by the time you actually leave high school and you go to college, you go to 2-year college or 4-year college, you transition from exposure to those careers to experience with those careers through internships, externships, get a hands-on on exactly what is expected for that job. That can create a lot of interest in, that's beyond just learning something that's academic in a book in front of you.
Nicole, what about these pathways to these skills through what we don't traditionally think of as higher education, whether a 4-year degree or a 2-year degree, apprenticeships, other programs like that?
Well, these types of pathways are really taking foot in terms of offering opportunities for many young people. And non-traditional pathways we can look to those a lot more than we did in the past, mostly because they don't represent a closed door anymore towards the bachelor's degree. It might be an opportunity to try something new. You can do it for 2 years. You can try your apprenticeship program. You can do your associate's degree, your certificate, your certification, and later on decide on a bachelor's degree. So there's no closed door. There's no dual pathway anymore that stares people in one or the other. So for many, the idea that they can, maybe just try it out for a couple of years is much more palatable than committing to a 4-year degree where we know that some of the completion rates are held in question.
And Beth, are employers opening themselves up increasingly to this idea of an apprenticeship program?
Employers are opening up to it. One of the great initiatives underway in Colorado that's been created under Governor Hickenlooper's leadership is a program called CareerWise. It's a statewide youth apprenticeship program starting in high school and working your way through, where you have an opportunity to learn and earn at the same time. We've actually got a terrific apprentice who's working in our office in Skillful, who's a great contributor, has learned a lot through that apprentice, and as Nicole described, is simultaneously pursuing his bachelor's degree at Metro State. So a great example of what is a growing cadre of apprentices through CareerWise across Colorado.
Beth Cobert, Nicole Smith, thanks so much for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for having us.